Hi, my name is James Scott. I'm the Director of Artistic Development at Perform Australia and one of the producers of our children's musicals. And I want to thank you for taking some time to find out what's involved in being involved in one of our kids' musicals. First of all, let me tell you about the different types of shows that we do. So there's a whole lot of people who've written and produced these great musicals on Broadway and the West End, and they've created junior versions of them, whether it be Getting to Know the Sound of Music or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang Junior or whatever they are. And these are hour and a quarter long versions of the full stage musicals, specifically designed to be produced by organisations such as ours to give kids the opportunity to be involved in a huge musical production without it being a 3-hour show which would involve massive amounts of rehearsal and production and so forth. So these shows are designed to be done in a term, or in our case over 2 terms, to create a wonderful experience for the kids without all the difficulties of staging a major full-length show. So far we've done shows like Getting to Know the Sound of Music, we've done Cats Abridged, we've just finished the Wizard of Oz Junior or the Wizard of Oz Junior version and so forth. And so now you've expressed some interest by watching this video in what's involved in being involved in some of our future shows. I want to talk to you about, first of all, what our expectations are on kids being involved in a show and parents being involved in a show, what the kids are going to get out of a show and being involved in a show, and then what you would need to do if you decide you'd like to come on board and be part of our team for the next show that we're going to do. What are our expectations on a kid? If a kid decides they want to be in one of our musical theatre productions, there are basically 3 things that we expect of them. The first is we want the kids to have a desire to be involved in singing, dancing and acting. If the child's not really interested in singing or is going to refuse to be involved in the dance process, then musical theatre is probably not the right option for them. And there are other things that we have here at Perform Australia which might suit them better, such as straight drama classes or screen acting or something like that. Musicals, by definition, involve singing, they involve dancing, and so our expectation is if a kid signs up for one, that's what they want to do. So just check with your kid that they understand that they will be required to sing, they will be part of the dance group, and if they're not going to enjoy that, then maybe they should try something else. The second expectation we have is probably the expectation that every institution has of everybody that's involved in that, and that is a level of respect from the kids. So the kids, when they come along and be involved in a team in a musical, we want them to respect the other kids that are involved in the process and show the right level of respect to teachers. That means things like not speaking when other people are speaking, when kids are getting up and performing in front of them, behaving like good audience members, all those sort of things that you would just expect a child to do, but in a creative process such as this, they're especially important if we're going to be successful in creating a fun and wonderful show. The third expectation that we have of kids that are involved in these projects is that they will put in a little bit of time outside of the rehearsal process to do things like learn their lines, practice their songs, go over the choreography, that is the dance steps that were practiced, and so forth. And if the kid's not interested in doing anything outside, then it means the only time they work in their lines is in the classroom, and that's not enough time. We usually do these shows in 17, 18 weeks of 2.5, 3 hours a week, and that's not enough time for us to spend having that time with kids not learning their lines. So they are required to spend a little bit of time outside of the classroom, going over their script, practicing their songs, and so forth. So that's our expectations on the kids. As for parents, well, we have some expectations on them as well, but I'll tell you what we're not expecting from parents. We're not expecting parents to be involved in creating costumes or volunteering their time to build the set or running sausage sizzles to fundraise or anything like that. We know that you're busy, sometimes you've got other kids or your kids are involved in lots of other activities, or maybe you're one of those lucky parents who has a life of their own, and you want to spend time doing that and not doing stuff all the time for the show. So you'll be able to just drop off your kids and pick them up and come and see the show, and that's pretty much it from you. Of course, if you have an interest in costumes or set building or volunteering in some way, we'd love to hear from you, but it's not an expectation that we have on you. What we do expect from you, again, 3 things. The first is that you get your kids to and from as many rehearsals as possible on time. preferably all the rehearsals on time. Drop them off on time, pick them up on time, and not skip any rehearsals. We know that sometimes life gets in the way, or that an event comes up and you need to be away for a week or a weekend, or that you have to come late or leave early every now and then. But if you can keep that to a minimum, as I said, we don't have a huge rehearsal time, and if kids are consistently late or leaving early or absent, particularly as we move on in the process, then your child's not going to have as great an experience, and it is going to affect the quality of the show. So as many rehearsals as possible, and always being picked up and dropped off on time. The second expectation that we have on parents is that you are supportive of your child through this process, and that comes in two main areas. The first is that when the child's involved in the show, what we do is generally the first 2 or 3 weeks we spend casting the show. That is, that we look at all the kids that we have in the show and the different roles that need to be filled, and we match those. It's a bit like an audition process. Your child will sing for us, they'll do some acting, read some of the script and so forth, and then we work out where we think they would be best placed in the show. And we make that decision based on the information that's available to us and what we see in the kids. So if the kid's a strong singer, then we'll look for a role that gives them an opportunity to show that. If they're really good at dancing, we want to give them some dance opportunity. If they're just beginning and they're still a little bit nervous, then we want to find the right role for them that's going to suit them. And sometimes the kids are a little bit disappointed with the roles that they end up with. That's perfectly natural. I'm an actor myself, and I've been to many an audition where I haven't got the part that I've wanted and felt initially devastated and then a little bit upset, and eventually that wears off. And if your child has people around them that can say it's okay to feel bad, look, let's work out what we can do better next time. You can support your child in that way. That's great. We actually have a video on our blog site on the Perform Australia website, which talks all about how to deal with the disappointment of not getting the part you want. Another way as a parent that you can support your child, and this is really important, is, as I mentioned, we do expect them to learn their lines and practice their parts outside of the rehearsal room. When they're in the rehearsal room, they're all geared up and really excited and want to do that. And then they get home and there's a screen waiting for them to watch, or other activities, or just they're tired and they don't always have the motivation to learn their lines or to practice their part or to go over their dance number. And that's when we need you as a parent to come in and just give them a little bit of a push, or if they need some help, to sit down with them and help them to learn their lines. So that's our second expectation of parents, that you're supportive of your kids through that process, supportive in the casting process and helping them deal with the fact that they might not get the part that they want. And then to help them learn their part. And the third expectation that we have on parents is that you come and see the show and bring as many of your family and friends as you can. The kids get to do 2 performances of the show. We generally have 2 casts. One cast does a performance on Saturday and Sunday, and then the other cast also performs once on the Saturday and once on the Sunday. And for the kids, the more people who come and see the show, the better the experience for them. So the more people that you can gather together and see the wonderful show that your child's involved in, the more your child will have a great experience on that weekend. So that's the expectations. What will the kids get out of the show? Well, at a very basic level, they get a copy of the script, which is usually a souvenir copy that they can keep, that they can write in, take all their notes and so forth. They get a team t-shirt. But most importantly, they get the experience of being involved in this massive project. And the skills and the memories that they get from that are wonderful. So they'll get skills. We've done, at the time of recording this, I think we're up to our 10th musical, and when I look at the kids that have been involved, especially those that have been involved in 2 or 3 of those, they've grown in their self-confidence. They've learned to take responsibility for themselves. They've learned how to learn a part, or to discipline themselves, to spend time practicing something till they get it right. They've got teamwork skills because they're used to working in a bigger team to create something. And they've got wonderful memories. They've made friends who have like-minded interests and so forth. So the child gets a whole lot of skills, and whether they go on to pursue the performing arts later in school or even later in life or not, they're going to develop a whole lot of skills and traits that are going to be great for them, whatever that field they decide to go into. So I hope that's enthused you and made you realise that being part of a musical such as the one that you're considering right now is a wonderful thing for your child, a great opportunity, and something which is going to give them a real boost and and I feel make them better people, better, have richer experiences in life. So if that sounds like something you want to be involved in, then I encourage you to enrol. We've also got a little information pack for each musical on the website. Download that. It's got a few other bits of information. A couple of bits of information I want to mention is that one requirement, apart from the fees, is that you'll need to buy a pair of jazz shoes for the child to wear for the dance part of the show. There's information in the pack on where you can get those. And the other thing is that each child, if they bring along a little USB memory stick, we put a copy of the songs on there for them to practice and at home. So hopefully that's enthused you and that it's a show that you want to be involved in. Enroll now, decide which rehearsal process, which day you want to come along to the rehearsals, and hopefully we will see you at the first rehearsal. Thanks for watching.